Hi, my name's Lawrence Rowland from the Career Services Office, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the job search today. Most specifically, a question or something that comes up when talking to candidates about their search strategy is often everybody jumps right into looking at job search engines, such as Handshake, Indeed, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts postings, and they use that to apply to positions and then start waiting to hear back. Often frustration comes from that, in that applicants may not hear right back away about it. They may never hear about the postings, or they just feel frustrated from a lack of progress in their search process. So that's why today we're going to talk about job search engines not being your only step. And to be honest, a job search engine is a tool that is used briefly at the beginning of your search process, and really the actual applying online should be one of the last things you do when getting ready to apply and to activate an application at a company. It should not be the first step. So as you'll see on this chart, where we would start is in the top left corner. That's with creating a target employer list. We have another YouTube video talking specifically in more detail about this, but basically with creating a target employer list, you're going to think about your primary industry areas that you're looking into, and then do research off of search engines. So again, using things like Handshake or Indeed to see who's hiring, or review sites like Glassdoor or some of the Boston Globe Best of Boston lists, whatever search engines you use to start to see who's out there hiring in your industry, in the location that you're looking for, and either currently or previously has openings that you know are going to be coming, are open, or that you could reasonably anticipate happening. So the reason we do this is to not only make a more usable list of applications, but also so that you do some research. Again, on review sites like Glassdoor, LinkedIn, so on and so forth. Use that to determine and get rid of any companies on your list that may not be a good fit. This will save you from writing resumes and cover letters to them, wasting time interviewing. This will help you streamline your process. Our next goal is with this target list, and let's just say maybe you start with a list of 10. Look at that list and you want to try and find advocates, is what we'd consider at these organizations. So these are people you can talk to learn a little bit more. So I would start looking through your personal social media to see if you know any friends or family that work at these organizations. Talk with faculty you're close to see if they know of connections. Then think of Bridgewater alumni. So you can use connections you may have, or go right on LinkedIn and you can search the Bridgewater State University page and look at the alumni board on there to see if there are BSU alumni working at the places that you have of interest, or maybe at competitors, and there's a good chance that they may know somebody there. Then, of course, professional groups, both virtually or in-person groups in the future, and even LinkedIn groups can be used to find individuals in these areas. Our goal, as I said, is to then learn about the employer. And one of the best strategies is through an informational interview. Last week's video, we talked about informational interviews, but briefly what I'll say is it's setting up a formal time to talk to a person, an expert, that can teach you a little bit more about the company, what they do, application processes, how things are looking in the future, and for you to gain insight if this is a good place for you. What you'll typically do is, for example, on LinkedIn, you might send a brief request to connect, asking for a 30-minute phone chat to ask them some questions about the work they do and to learn a little bit more about their work backgrounds. We don't go into anything personal in these. We don't ask them about their personal salary or any of that. We use this in informational gathering. So typically a 30 to 45-minute phone or video chat. You dress appropriately, and you also have a list of questions prepared. And if it goes well, the goal of any informational interview is to also get referrals. So look at their LinkedIn page and see if maybe there's companies that we don't have alumni yet, but that they know people that they can introduce you to. So get a referral to 1 to 2 new people so that you're consistently expanding your network. But with this conversation, you're hopefully finding out some more information, like what they want on a resume and cover letter, interview questions they ask, what a hiring manager looks for in a candidate, how to move forward in the company. These are all things and tips that you can use to adjust your approach. So that way, when we get to the step of applying online, which again should be one of the last steps, we've targeted that resume. Maybe somebody there at the company even looked at it for you to get it in really good shape for exactly what they want. If they can't do that, maybe they've told you the exact interview questions they got when they were hired 6 months ago, and chances are some of those are still going to be in place. This is all information to help increase the likelihood of your application moving forward, and if you get an interview, you moving forward in the process. So again, in an ideal world, we would reverse engineer the job search and make the online application more of like that last step paperwork that you're doing to secure your interest in the employer and to make sure that you'll be considered in part of the process. Otherwise, the rest of this is to increase that likelihood. Because if you just apply online, it's a straight up numbers game. And if you get a 10 to 20% yield on applications, meaning they call you for an interview, that's good when you haven't done any other work and you've just apply online. But by going through this strategy and getting gatekeepers at the organization to help you out and give you information, you're increasing your likelihood to maybe, 20, 30, 40% chance. And if somebody's willing to share your resume with the right person at the company, that might get you towards like a 50-50 shot of an interview. So it's all things to try and increase the likelihood. And when you're talking with your advocates, you try and find people at different levels of the organization, from somebody who just got hired all the way up to somebody in HR or an experienced person at the company, to again increase the likelihood that it's somebody that can help you with the process. Then after you apply online, the whole idea is to recycle the process and either move on to the next segment of your list, or if you've exhausted your initial list, you should then move on to your secondary or third areas of interest or focus to expand your search if you haven't heard back on enough leads or secured enough interviews. So then just replicate the process similarly and consistently be working on outreach and networking. It's critical in every job hunt, but especially so right now, for you to make inroads, to find ways to get your foot in the door at the organization. And some of these people might be able to tell you about better entry-level roles, ways to get maybe a paid post-grad internship or to volunteer, so on and so forth. So if you have additional questions about your job search, Career Service is always available to help, and you can just give us a call at 508-531-1328, and we'd be happy to set up an appointment with you. Thanks, and we look forward to working with you in the future.